Hello everybody and welcome to SmartTag, Learn Tools for the Web. My name's Chad Watkins and I'll be guiding you through learning today's tool, which is called Emmet. Now what is Emmet? Emmet is a plugin that improves your HTML and CSS workflow. It's just reached its version 1.0 in February 2013, and before then it was called Zen Garden. Now if you've heard of Zen Garden, it is the next iteration of that. Now how do you get Emmet? Now you go ahead and go to emmet.io. Make sure it is spelled with 2 M's and 1 T. You can come over here and hit the download button, and it is a plugin for all these different text editors and IDEs. You got Sublime, you got TextMate, Coda, you got Netpad++, Dreamweaver. You got these WebStorm, whatever one you use. JS Fiddle, JS Bin already have these online ones already have it built into it. Brackets is the one that we're going to be using today. So you'll go ahead and follow the instructions that it gives you on how to get that for each of those programs. Now we're going to go ahead and use the brackets extension version of Emmet. To get that, go ahead and hit the extension manager button right here. You'll notice that as you open this up, you can go ahead and type in here, and you'll notice that it's just right here. Click install, and it's just like that. You have Emmet for brackets. Another reason why brackets is just really awesome, it just makes extensions super easy. So now to show off how Emmet works, I think the best way is just to go ahead and just dive right into it. So to see that, we can just hit H3. No extra elemental things defining what type of element it is. Closing tag, opening brackets, closing brackets. You just go ahead and hit the tab right there, and it adds the closing tag for us. It adds what's defined as an HTML element for us. It adds all this for us right there just by typing it up and hitting tab. And it's typed all that up, and it saved us all that time. So as Emmet gets more powerful, you'll see that as we learn about it, you'll see it gets more powerful. So we can go ahead and hit this character and say like P, and then we can say EM. So type tab, and you'll see it's created the P tag as a child of the H3, and then you'll see it's created the EM as a child of the P tag. So you can guess from what this does. This creates a child of whatever element you're currently going into. So, but let's say if you want to make these sibling elements instead of child and parent relationship, so you can go ahead and hit the plus button right there and hit tab on that. Okay, so just like that, we have the P tag and its sibling, the EM tag, instead of a parent-child relationship that we previously had. The next thing we're going to go ahead and talk about with this is another reason why this is just becoming more and more awesome. So we're creating a navigation, so we say nav, and then we go and do an unordered list. And within that we have, let's say, 5 list items. To create that, we just do the times 5 right there. And there we are. We have 5 list items created for us. It would have taken a little bit longer to do that. It's just this Emmet is just a way to speed up your HTML and CSS. We'll touch on the CSS just very lightly in this episode. Okay, so the next thing we may want to do is maybe we want to assign a class to these list items. You can do that pretty easily in Emmet by simply using the CSS selector, the dot for class, and then we can just say nav item. Okay, so we do that, hit tab, and it's created classes for us. So pretty simple, and yet we've already generated this much HTML just from one simple line right there, saving us a lot of time. And we can also do this with ID by just using the selector of the hashtag right there, and it creates IDs for us. And you're probably thinking, well, that's not very useful since you can only use one ID at a time, for each given name, since you can't use multiple IDs over and again. But brackets, excuse me, I keep saying brackets, but Emmet goes ahead and helps us out with that. We can say the $ right there. Let's see, times 5, and it adds a number for us right there at the end, making each of these unique, so we can go ahead and use them for an ID. We can also modify this a little bit. We can just say, use the @ sign and say negative, and hit tab again. Excuse me. I think got rid of that. There we go. So with the @ sign appended to that, it starts at 5 at the top, and it counts down to 1. So you get @negative. We can also change this, instead of the negative sign, we can say like 6. Hit tab. You'll see it, instead of starting at 1, it now started at 6 and counts up. We can continue to modify this even more. We say we want to count down to 6 instead of from 6. We can add that, and it started counting down from 6. We can modify this last number here. We want 8 elements instead. And it starts counting down from 13 all the way down to 6. So all that from one simple little line of code right there of Emmet. So the next thing that makes Emmet really useful is it has a lorem ipsum generator built into it right there. We can just go ahead and type the word lorem, hit tab again, and it generates a paragraph of lorem ipsum for us. We can modify this and make this a little more customizable. We can go ahead and type in a number just appended to the word lorem right there. And just like that, I now have 100 words of lorem ipsum text. I can change this number to however much I want, maybe make it 1,000, and it's given us 1,000 words of lorem ipsum. Just however much we need, we can have it be generated for us right there. So that is some awesome features of Emmet. Now, one other feature we're going to talk about pretty quickly is it can generate a very skeleton base of HTML5. I have just a blank HTML document right here, and then I go ahead and type HTML5 like that, and it creates a very basic but a very essential skeleton to create an HTML document. We have the doc type, HTML, your head with your meta and your title within there. Just a very basic what you would need to create an HTML page. It gives that for us. So the last thing we're going to go ahead and talk about pretty briefly is its CSS abilities. So I've got just this selector right here that you guys, if you watched the previous video, probably recognize. It's just blank, nothing there. But I don't have all of these memorized, but we can go ahead and just type P. Now you can also use the code hinting from whatever program you're using. I like using that a lot more personally than the Emmet abilities, but I can type P, and it does have some uses though. It automatically creates the semicolon right there, and it puts my cursor right there, and it created everything for us. If I had used my code hinting, you can just go ahead and see it just creates the colon, puts it right there. I would probably like to have a space and the semicolon already created, just like how it does there. So you can just type in, like let's look at this image. We can say background BG, and it creates the background for this, that we can start modifying it already. So, or if we just say B, I believe it's B is for border. No, B is for bottom. So maybe border is like that. There you go. And a lot of these, they do have a document. You can go through and look at this individual ones, but they kind of just figure it's intuitive enough. You can just guess a lot of what this was going to be. So M for margin, one that you use a lot. Maybe we want to create box shadow. So box shadow right there. Can hit BSH, I'm guessing. And we have box shadow. It creates all this, the WebKit, the Mozilla for us, and the standard, the already implemented stuff for box shadow. And so we can see It generated a lot for us just from a little. So we can type, font family and start getting that going right there. So very simple, but very versatile tool to help us speed up our workflow. I would highly recommend you checking out Emmet. It is a great tool. I promise it'll increase your workflow for HTML and CSS. It'll make you go through that faster so you can focus on other aspects of whatever project you're working on. So go ahead and give it a try. I encourage you to check it out. And this is Chad signing off from SmartTag, and thank you so much. We'll go ahead and talk about Bootstrap next time, so stay tuned.